Alright guys, this is That's Doable, showing you my face for the first time here, and this wouldn't be the first time that I've done this except for the last video I recorded. I've been fooling around with codecs for Bandicam to get it so it'll actually render in Sony Vegas, and that just hasn't happened. I finally got something that I think might work. I hope it works. Depends on how this video goes, whether or not from here on out I use this form of commentary, or I have to go back to show you a clip, then give you my commentary, show you a clip, then give you my commentary. But we're going to try and do this way, so this is That's Doable. This is what I look like. I actually have a face. I actually exist, other than some voice on the internet. But the last video I recorded was a commentary on Big Al in regards to the Irate Gamer. Now, that I had to scrap it. I'm going to have to redo it, so it should happen within the next week or two. But I also got a request from another person, I can't remember who they are, to do a commentary on the Archfiend. Now, I had initially planned for this to be my first commentary, because it was either Big Al or the Archfiend, and I went through some of the Archfiend's videos, more recent videos, and I was like, I don't know, I couldn't find anything recent because he's kind of backed away, surprisingly, from the whole drama thing. The only drama piece that he's made recently is the PewDiePie video about him becoming a millionaire, which is not surprising at all. But anyway, so I had to go back in time, guys. I don't know how many years old this is, maybe 3 or 4 years old. So those of you who saying, oh, well, it's old and it doesn't matter anymore. I believe the Archfiend still believes in all this stuff that he says in here. Now, I haven't watched the entire video. It's probably going to be a long video. As you can see, it's 16 minutes long. If it goes into just complete nonsense, I will probably cut the video short, because you can already guess what this video is going to be about. So I've had to go back in time, and of course, what video summarized the Archfiend more than anything, besides the contrarian thing, than the AVGN videos. Now, this is when he decided that he was going to jump ship. This is the beginning of when I don't know if this is before or after the whole Cheetahman video thing, but he has an annotation here, which is quite funny because it's a thing I've addressed in the past, which most people found completely stupid. Here, let me get this off full screen for a moment. Let's look at the ratings right here. I hope that didn't mess up the video at all. But yeah, I think this is probably one of the most downrated videos that he has, probably because his arrogance just knows no bounds in this video. So anyway, we'll save the comments for later, but this is probably his most downvoted video that he has on here. So this is the video that he talks about the AVGN. I don't know if it's the first video or the second video, but he no longer likes AVGN's money grubbing ass. Let's see why. Let's see why he doesn't like AVGN's money grubbing ass anymore. Let's start.
This is the Archfiend. This is, I would say,
oh wait,
the one video that
I have to stop already, because if you can see this annotation in the video, it says, all AVGN fans, please click the first link in the video description and do your best to explain James hoarding over $130,000 for himself out of the money that was donated to him. This is the same bullshit that A. Salieri propagated and tried to put forward as damning evidence that James Rolfe was a terrible person and he was now hoarding money for himself and scamming his fan base. This has already been debunked. This is absolute nonsense, and A. Salieri and the Archfiend both knew it was a nonsense, but they were grasping at straws to put forth some sort of bad thing that James Rolfe was doing. And by all means, I'm not an AVGN fanboy. People are already gonna say that because I'm having to explain this, that I must be an AVGN fanboy. But keep in mind that if I don't explain myself, people like this will probably clamor and cling to the fact that I am a fan of James Rolfe. But And they will also say that because I'm having to say this, that I must be a fanboy. That obviously I am because I had to explain it. But I want to nip this in the bud before it goes any further. So let's continue.
I've contemplated making the most, and I've thought a lot about it recently. I even addressed it in my last live show, and I even said I wasn't going to make a video about it, but the more I've thought about things here, the more I just felt it necessary just to voice my opinion.
You know, this is something that the Archfiend does a lot. A lot of videos he comes in saying, I wasn't planning on making this video and it would just slip my mind. It was something that I wasn't going to bother with. But then a fan came to me and sent me tons of messages, therefore I have to make the video now. I can understand doing fan requests, but if you literally had such an issue with wanting to make the video, then you probably wouldn't have made it. A lot of times people use the few people that send them requests as an excuse to start the video because, well, because my fans requested it, I'm no longer obsessed with the issue. It's no longer coming directly from me. It's a video for my fans to watch. He does this a lot. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this.
Just to say what I gotta say, and just above all else, when have I kept my mouth shut about something that I wanted to talk about so vehemently? And I feel like I would just be doing myself an injustice for just whatever this YouTube channel is here for me. Just this encapsulation of my life and time. Of all these times I've been making videos and been on here watching other people's videos and all that good shit. Now, before I get into the thick of things and before I burn this bridge to the ground, and trust me, I'm going to burn this fucking bridge to the ground. I'm going to piss on its ashes. I gotta say, without James Rolfe and the Angry Video Game Nerd being in existence here on YouTube, I don't know if I would be here on YouTube. I have to personally acknowledge that he is, and that character in those videos that the James Nintendo Nerd channel had made were the one single catalyst.
Oh, God. Someone just brought up a very good point to me. If there is already a Cinemassacre channel, then why isn't Mike Matei uploading all of his movie reviews and other filler content there and not to James AVGN YouTube channel? Alright, James AVGN channel is partnered with the Cinemassacre one. Alright, James AVGN channel is partnered and the Cinemassacre one isn't. Pretty clear money agreed if you ask me. Time will show. What? You know, maybe I wouldn't have paid attention to this at the time, like back in the day, but what is the problem with, you know, having an extra person come onto your channel, make a video, and you guys get money? What's the problem with this? There isn't one. He wants to make a video on the AVGN channel, which I don't know what it was at the time. I don't know if it was a combination of several stuff. But are several things like the Monster Madness or the movie reviews or the AVGN show itself. But there's absolutely no problem with this. He says this to make it look like James is greedy. Who doesn't want to make money on YouTube? Even the Archfiend is a partnered YouTube channel that's a drama tubing channel. You know, any drama that's happening on YouTube that he can somehow either insert himself into or talk about, he makes a video on. So, and again, that's not a problem. But claiming that because Mike Matei makes videos on the AVGN channel and it's partnered and he wants to make money is a bad thing, that's ridiculous. That's absolute nonsense. But let's go to the extreme and claim that it's greed.
That got me interested in this website, that made me want to subscribe to a channel. Now, granted, I had
these
my
annotations
account here
aren't
before
filled
James even
in
started
this
making
video.
videos.
Like,
In
if
fact,
you need to make another
James
video
and I
on the
created
subject,
our
make
channels
another video.
2 days apart from each other. But I just kind of created an account here to have an account here at the time. It wasn't like an
Let's
aspiring
skip forward.
filmmaker.
Yes, you like
done a number
AVGN.
of things that I consider to be unethical, just
Here we go.
bastard things to do, for lack of a better term, and a number of other things. But I can't keep quiet about this shit anymore. like I said on my live video, gave my thoughts about it, and I know people are going to be upset with some of the things I have to say. I know some people are going to have clouded judgment towards the things I have to say. I know this video is probably going to get long, drawn out, and boring. People will unsubscribe from my channel for this. So be it. But I'm going to speak my mind, and goddamn if I've ever shut my mouth before when I wanted to talk about something.
Let's not think about the video we're about to make. Let's just make a video and say stupid stuff.
James, the Angry Video Game Nerd, is making a movie. A full-length feature film, as he puts it. And recently, about a month ago, he opened up an account on a donations website where there's like a tiered system for how much you donate. You could get what's called a gift back. Like, the gifts range, or the amounts range, like a tiered system for how much you donate. You could get what's called a
It's Kickstarter.
Gift back.
It's Kickstarter, yes.
The gifts,
you can get gifts.
$1,000 donations to finance this movie. It has a goal, if you will, of receiving $75,000, of which he's already got over, I think it was like 58,000 last I checked money. Now, I'm not going to harp so much on the e-begging part, because I know you guys know I attack people like the Amazing Atheist for being just a shitbag e-begger and all that.
He attacks the
You know what?
Amazing
That's
Atheist.
fine, because there's a number of filmmakers that have financed their films, and especially films that they're just like, trying to make it in the business. Specifically, a lot of documentaries that have been made, a lot of good documentaries, have financed themselves through donations, but mainly in the filmmaking industry, you're supposed to take a risk. And that risk is supposed to be based on money you take out from a bank. That is considered to be the more ethical way of doing things. James decided to go the other route and get the money from his fans to finance this film. Now, that's all well and good. The only major issue I have, and like I said, e-beg your ass off with it. Don't really care about that, James.
Come on, let's go.
What I do have a problem with is, why do people have this notion that this movie is going to absolutely be made? There is absolutely zero guarantees that will tell you this movie is absolutely going to be made. He's getting thousands upon thousands of dollars from his fans to finance a film that is simply in pre-production at this point. If the film doesn't get made, does he have a contingency plan for getting the money back?
He loses potentially thousands of dollars. He loses a large portion of his fan base. There could be people that are very that will hold grudges on his channel for years to come. Maybe possibly massively downvoting his videos. Think of the Irate Gamer. He got caught stealing AVGN stuff. He was pretty much freaking stalked throughout, and I'm just using stalk because I can't really think of another word, but he was stalked throughout YouTube for several years to come, several years after, and could barely keep afloat because of the amount of hate going towards his channel. You act like absolutely nothing's going to happen if he doesn't make the movie after taking that much money. You can look at the Amazing Atheist, though, and see what he did with Not Productive and say, okay, well, there's people that's going to donate no matter what, thousands of dollars, even if something does or doesn't get made. Why are you under the impression that James Rolfe is like this? It's not like he's like the Amazing Atheist and he has a horrible track record of not keeping any of his promises. So again, Archfiend is propagating. He's trying to force you to think something, and he's taking an extreme. He's like taking it to the extreme to get his point across, avoiding all logic and any sort of reason in this video, or in the video that he's making. What a surprise!
No. More than likely, you're all going to be screwed if you donate it to him and this film doesn't see the light of day. Granted, he wants to make this be a feature-length film that gets into theaters. That's not exactly that easy to do, even though everyone wants to think he has, millions of fans that are going to support him. Trust me, there's been bigger flops in Hollywood that have had twice the amount of fans that James has. Now,
keep in mind, this whole video is pretty hilarious considering that the AVGN movies already came out and it was kind of released in theaters. So he got permission to play it in some theaters throughout the U.S., but everything that he said was going to happen happened. What a surprise. Someone who so far has not shown any reason for us not to trust him. Besides, the Cheetah Man thing is very shaky. I've heard that was even made. And people were acting like it was supposed to be a full game that was supposed to be released. It was a collector's item. Like, obviously, if you look at it, it's something for a collector to put on their shelves. Hey, I have a working Cheetah Man cartridge, replica or whatever, and it works. Not to be played on some freaking emulator. That's ridiculous, in my opinion. But let's continue.
Into the whole thing, like I said, you know what, eBay your ass off. That's kind of what I expected from you, but I don't see an issue with that. What I do see an issue with is when you lay out all the cards on the table and you see what James has and what he's done, and you see his YouTube channel now and the recent change where he got a YouTube partnership, you have to ask yourselves, why is he asking for money in the first place?
Didn't you just say that it's kind of hard to do? I think you're about to say that if you looked on Social Blade and he makes far more than that and he can fund it himself, which many people again debunked by saying, well, Social Blade is also not really accurate. There can be tons of discrepancies, but how do you know how much it takes to make a movie? Just like people told you and A. Salieri and several other people, how do you know how much it takes to make a movie? You don't. Especially in California, as others have said. This is coming from ignorance. It's bashing based on ignorance. It's ridiculous.
Now, I'm not going to claim to be his personal accountant and know what he makes to a T.
But you're going to go ahead and assume.
But are we seriously supposed to sit here and believe that he's this really big, like, struggling filmmaker that doesn't have any money to get his project off the ground? Folks, his channel on YouTube just got a YouTube partnership. Channels that are his size and that get his amount of viewership earn anywhere from $150,000 to $300,000 a year. He has a website of which the traffic is public knowledge.
Make sure that you spend all that money on the film. Don't pay your bills with that money if it happens to be what you do full time, which Archfiend doesn't know that. Don't spend it on your house, because again, we don't know how big the house is, or if it's 2 or 3 stories, or if it's a giant house or something. He could maybe have a mansion or something. So don't spend. You're not allowed to spend all that money on your house. What about a car? What if James Rolfe had a car? What if he had a nice car that he had to pay the bills on? And he's using the money that he makes from YouTube, his job. It's technically a job, his work. If he is doing that full time, don't spend it on any of that stuff. Spend it all on the movie. Then he can afford it. This is what people do not realize, that like everything on YouTube is extra. Some people do this full time, believe it or not. Full time YouTube. That is something I wish I could do and make a living off of. But Archfiend looks at Social Blade, assumes that AVGN has another job which he's making tons of money with, and he all of a sudden has enough money to make a movie. Sweet.
You can search any one of numerous websites out there that give you website traffic and give you a rough estimate of what ad revenue generates off those websites. A website like Cinemassacre.com is making an estimated $200 to $500 in ad revenue a day. Every single day.
A day.
That's just from physical ads being seen on the website. James has a Blip TV account, which is on his website, that hosts all the videos you see on his website. Every single one of his videos has both pop-up ads and pre-roll ads on them. That is a whole different avenue of income. James has a partnership with Screw Attack, where they pay him to make Angry Video Game Nerd episodes. James makes money from SpikeTV.com, where he makes a number of projects for them at any given time of year. James sells numerous pieces of merchandise through ScrewAttack.com. Sure, he gets screwed over a little bit, pun intended, by ScrewAttack. He still makes money off of that nonetheless. Money that adds up to thousands of dollars a year.
Which he is not allowed to spend on anything.
DVDs, t-shirts, hats, all that stuff that he gets a cut of.
That's all extra.
James is by no means a poor man. If he is a poor man, then he's just terrible with money.
Archfiend knows
and for that,
what
I have
AVGN's
to say,
bills are. Just so
why
everyone knows.
do we, the fans, have to pick up the tab for you if you're irresponsible with your money, or you just, haven't known how to handle your money? Because from the looks of things, you have more than a few pennies to your name.
Based on what?
Let's not overlook the eBaying. Remember that, people? I think he still does it to this day. Correct me if I'm wrong. But putting the little, extra game cartridges he has, and he'll, autograph them, or an extra set piece or whatever. He's made thousands of dollars selling his little extra tchotchkes on eBay. So, now he wants to get the Angry Video Game Nerd movie off, and he wants to get it in, full production here. He's saying, he's buying new cameras and everything, and all this other stuff. And that's all well and good, and I understand that you want to, make the movie look better and everything.
But I love this entire thing. He's trying to satisfy both sides. He's saying, well, he's practically saying, I'm not outright bashing this person, but, and then proceeds to bash the living hell out of the person. I love it when someone does this. I love it when someone says something, but, and then goes on to do the exact opposite of what they just said. Let's continue. Let's hear this bashing.
But I gotta ask everyone who's a fan of the Angry Video Game Nerd, what are your favorite episodes of the Angry Video Game Nerd? I've talked to a number of people that are AVGN fans and former fans like myself, and I'd say we'd all agree stuff from around the 2007-2008 era, the very early on.
Who are these fans that you've talked to? The ones that are subscribed to your channel and will agree with everything you say? I'm pretty sure there's some people that like his newer stuff, and there's also some people that like his older stuff. Just because you talk to a few people on your channel, or went somewhere where people are some diehard, they're hipster AVGN fans, and the old stuff is better than the new stuff, and I can't believe he's making this newer stuff with more editing and more action scenes, but longer, I believe, doesn't mean that there's not anybody out there that likes the newer stuff. I like them all, to be honest. I enjoy watching all of them. The longer the better, though, but I like the new stuff as well as the old stuff. It doesn't really matter to me. This coming from an AVGN fan.
Reviews, the stuff that, didn't have to, jerk off on the camera and show a billion game collection behind him. Stuff that was modest, shot with minimal special effects, shot with just low-grade cameras, stuff that wasn't in high definition.
You mean over time he evolved? Holy crap! You mean someone who started out with, stuff that they could afford at the time, and maybe it wasn't the highest, grade stuff, actually, took time because it was a popular series and wanted to evolve the series into something more like HD and some special effects? Holy crap! Who the heck does that? Who evolves their stuff? Oh yeah, the Archfiend doesn't.
Stuff that was just him being a character, reviewing the game, and that was it. Stuff that didn't have to have the peripheral characters, like the glitch gremlin, like the cowardly lion, like shit like that.
God forbid
stuff
he wants
where
to
when
do
you started getting into the theatrics and the overacting and adding the dialogue that had nothing to do with the game and skits and scenarios.
In your opinion.
Fans out there unanimously agree that that stuff is not the better versions of James.
What do you mean unanimous? So you've talked to every AVGN fan. That is a terrible choice, an awful choice of words on your part to use. Unanimously believe that the older stuff is better than the new stuff. You've talked to every single AVGN fan. You've spoken to every single one of them. You know what they like as far as the AVGN. This is ridiculous. That is probably maybe one of the more retarded things that you have said in this video. That is absolutely stupid for you to insinuate that you have talked to every last AVGN fan on YouTube and whatever forums you visited and out in person. They unanimously agree that the old stuff is better than the new stuff. What a ridiculous thing to say. I don't get, why would you even use that phrasing?
It's the stuff that was just the nuts and bolts, him as the character, being angry, showing the game, reviewing it, save all that other drama and acting for a different project. So, James wants to make this movie look better by buying better equipment. He wants to hire other actors. He wants to get all dramatic with it. He's got, you know, just a full, all-out script and all that.
Like a movie.
More the power to him.
But
James, why would your fans give a shit about how good the movie looked? About how many extra actors there are? About whether or not the glitch gremlin's going to be in it and a number of other peripheral characters that you've created throughout time? Like, seriously, we would be fine as fans if you just used the same camcorders you used in your first 2 seasons of your videos on the Angry Video Game Nerd.
The Archfiend speaks for all AVGN fans. Taking a look at the like and dislike again, if you happen to go see this video again, I'm not going to show it again, it'd just be a waste of time, but you would, looking at the likes and dislikes from a guy who's going to speak for the entire AVGN fan base and for everyone that has donated, everyone that has watched an AVGN video, who is going to claim that everyone unanimously likes the older stuff. Looking at the dislikes, that doesn't seem the case. Like, you're so arrogant in how you talk, Archfiend. You're so arrogant with how you talk. It is ridiculous. It is, you have no idea what you're talking about, but you're going to spout nonsense to make it seem like you know what you're talking about. You know what every AVGN fan wants. You know what every single one of them thinks. But the sweet irony is the likes and dislikes. You speak for every AVGN fan, but they don't seem to like your video, man. I'm sorry.
But he wants to invest all this money to make it look better. Why? The look of your show isn't what drew people in and built your fan base. It was you as the character. It was you being the angry character. What good camera you have pointing at you is moot. People could care less.
You know, he's wanting, and I think he's explained this in the past, not the Archfiend, but the AVGN, James Rolfe. He has said that he wants to make a movie. Now, you look at what most movies are today. And he wants it on the big screen. What if he wanted to, like, attract people, like people that aren't AVGN fans? What if he just wants people who like freaking movies to watch this movie? Wouldn't that be a great freaking feeling to have a person who wants to make a video, or I'm sorry, a movie, have a bunch of people watch his movie? And he did it. This guy started as an indie freaking person on YouTube, and look at this movie he's doing. It looks like an actual movie. But the Archfiend is going to sit here and insinuate that people would want to watch a YouTube video in a theater, you know, as an actual movie, to be taken seriously. I'm glad the AVGN did what he did. I mean, you could technically play his film in a movie theater. You could still do it. But just imagine, like, playing an old school AVGN freaking episode in a freaking theater. It would be so out of place. Like, it belongs on a computer screen, not in a movie theater. But the Archfiend, the person who knows what every AVGN fan thinks and wants, says that they would all just want to see a regular old YouTube video in a movie theater. He wants to make a movie, Archfiend. A movie. Not an AVGN episode. A movie.
I mean, Jesus, like, it's like when Jackass went from the TV show to their first movie.
It was great.
Look at the types of shitty cameras they were using. Did they have to bust out and use special effects and everything? In fact, look at the end of the first Jackass movie. It almost just completely stands out, and it's like almost unhumorous in comparison to the rest of the film. Because they wanted to make it look like, you know, this big sellout project, and that's what they're doing. They're Hollywood now. They had to make this big Hollywood production. No, they kept the movie simple. They kept it true to their roots, and they kept it to the standard that won their fans over. James keeps straying away from this more and more. He gets into these Angry Video Game Nerd episodes. And I see the comments. I see the fans that are writing to me too as well, because they think I'm a big AVGN fanboy because I've attacked the Irate Gamer a number of times.
No.
But I'll tell you what, man.
Ooh, sorry. No proof of this whatsoever. He has tons of email or tons of messages and comments or whatever saying this stuff, but he has no proof that they exist. And again, he doesn't speak for every AVGN fan out there. I doubt he even speaks for the majority of the AVGN fan base out there. But he's going to pretend like he does.
This movie,
3
and
minutes,
just
guys.
James as a video reviewer and all this other stuff. I hate to be so masochistic about it, but I hope this fails. I hope he falls flat on his face. I hope the movie falls flat on its face. And like I said, people,
and you wonder why you got so many dislikes.
Even ever going to get made.
Just wishing failure.
And all
on
you
someone.
people that donated, I'd feel bad for you. Well, then again, people that are willing to donate, they take the risk. So, you know, buyer beware.
Keep in mind, guys. Let me explain something that is a terrible idea or a terrible Kickstarter that happened. And let's compare it to the AVGN movie. I think he's done with this. I'm not even going to bother with the rest of the 3 minutes because I'm not going to waste your time. So I don't have anything queued up. But let's use an example. A person by the name of The Amazing Atheist made a Kickstarter. And keep in mind, he's also done stuff like this in the past, The Amazing Atheist, where he has asked for money, promised that he would make something. It lasts for maybe a month or two, maybe a little bit longer, and then it disappears. He has asked for outrageous amounts of money in order to get the most simple things done. So let's use this as an example, a more recent example. He raised, I think, 17 grand, or he may have wanted even more than that, like 20 grand or something, for a website which hosted videos by various YouTubers, because you cannot find other YouTubers in the vast sea of people like SXE Phil and, you know, let's use a more modern example, PewDiePie, Markiplier, stuff like that. So he made a website, or was going to make a website, for $17,000. Now you look at that, and that is a prime example of, right off the bat, how the hell do you need $17,000 to make a website? So he gets the money from gullible fans. This is one of those situations where, yes, this is purely gullible fans saying, well, I'm going to donate to anything that he has going on. So he makes the website after tons of delays. I think it was a year or two of delays. He makes the website. Not functional and looks terrible. And all it was a YouTube video surrounded by Google ads and with Facebook hosted comments. So absolutely none of the website was actually his except for maybe the logo, because he even posted at some point, he posted a layout which he bought from a website, because at the time the screenshot was posted, it was full of like sports things and like placement title or filler thumbnail or something like that. So the layout wasn't his, the videos were not hosted by him, the ads were not hosted by him, and the comments were not hosted by him. The only thing that was his was the words typed out on the website and the logo. That's all he owned. He needed $17,000 for it. No graphic designers, no, I don't know what the servers were, but he doesn't need a $17,000 server. That's like government encryption freaking servers right there. And shortly after, I'd say maybe a few months after, if even that, it became nothing more than a YouTube channel. And he also conveniently had a wedding at the time. So you look at that, you add everything up, the facts and the information, and you find that it sounds very much like a scam, like fraud. It's now a YouTube channel. $17,000 for a YouTube channel, which now is not really supported, and people who have donated large amounts of money to it have had their videos not really promoted at all. Look at AVGN's video or movie. Was produced, looked like a large portion of money went into it. Filmed in California, made with practical special effects like he wanted to, with a little bit, I believe, of CGI. A lot of green screen effects. Actors hired, distribution, and, you know, mainly filming costs. You look at it, and you have to look at the video and go, and only the dumbest of the dumb would say, I don't think all that money went into this. And you compare the two, a crappy Kickstarter, a fraudulent Kickstarter, and you compare the AVGN movie Kickstarter, yeah, there's a total difference there. The movie was made exactly like it should have been. And he done what he wanted to do. He made his movie the way he wanted to. Short of hiring a freaking director, which after that it wouldn't have been actually his movie. All that money went into it, by what I can see. And people said that the plot sucked. Well, it's his movie. You can't buy a better script from a person who wants to make their own movie. People say that because the plot sucked, $300,000 didn't go into the movie. Nonsense and stupid is what people who say this are stupid. So I think I'm done with Archfiend's video. Let's go ahead and look at the comments. He added this later on because I remember when this video first came out, but he added this later on. He's like, thanks for watching this video, fanboys. Obviously he's, with dollar signs, obviously he's not a YouTube whore himself. This is how he responds to criticism. He just posts dollar signs. But he's not a YouTube whore, guys. I'm not even going to bother with that. This guy claims that everyone who downvoted is a freaking fanboy. I know, it's laughable at this point. James can do no wrong. Let's see what the Archfiend posted on Twitter. This is probably one of the more dumber videos Archfiend has made.
Hello, everyone. This is the Archfiend.
Nope, I'm not sitting through that again. So, this is That's Doable. Let me know what you guys think of this commentary. Let me know if you have any other requests. Hopefully more, direct videos, not just go find a video by the Archfiend and commentate on it. If you have a direct video, or if you have a video specifically in mind, let me know, and I will hopefully commentate on it. And I will see you guys later. Bye.